What's up, guys? Last week we talked about your role in the bit. No, I'm lying. We talked about playing your role. We're back again for part 2. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. Welcome back, everybody. Back to the Kingsman podcast today. It's a pretty good one. We're going part 2 of knowing your role and playing your role in your marriage, your family, your life, your work. Today, we got some extra. All right. We got our good friend, Pastor Corey, who's the youth pastor. As always, we got my friend,
the old man,
my friend, Pastor Todd. And we're going to continue on. First, guys, I want to recap because I thought it was really good last time when we talked. And because I feel like it's important for people to say, look, you have to be a man. It's essential for you to be a man. Okay, great. I accept that. But what does that even mean?
What does it mean? Yeah.
You know, and I think this is really core. So real brief recap, and I have to look, my memory, I have to look over some of my notes. I'm sorry. But Corey, first of all, we talked about your role in a marriage and just what all does that encompass? Does it change? So I would like to hear from you, like, what are 3 things, boom, you think your role as a husband in your marriage that every marriage needs to be successful?
Yeah. So, coming in hot and heavy.
I know, baby. We laying it in, baby.
Man.
Laying it in.
Icebreaker, nothing. Well, man, you know, kind of what you were referencing is I feel like my position as a husband and a lot of my roles have changed over time, right? Like when my wife was in grad school, I had different roles than when my wife was working from the house than when she started a job off, right? So there's been different seasons. But there are some things that just never change, right?
Right.
Priest, provider, protector. Like those are the 3 words that I come back to of like I need to be doing those 3 things. I need to be my wife's covering and leading her towards Jesus, right? As I lead myself towards Jesus,
Very
obviously.
good. Mm-hmm.
Provider, providing for her. And that doesn't just mean like being the breadwinner, right? But that's providing for all of her needs. Emotional, financial, physical, providing for her. And then, priest, provider, and I said the other one. What was it? Protector, protecting her. Yeah, that's it.
He's a preacher. Alliteration.
But no, I saw it on a T-shirt and it stuck with me.
That is really good, though.
Yeah, but and just protecting her, and of course that physically, right? Like if the Ring doorbell goes off at night and there's a strange man at the front, I should be the one to go confront him.
Oh, it's expected. Get your take.
You know, like. Yeah. But also more than that, like we said, emotionally, like. Protecting her when I see her slipping, if she's having an altercation at work or some kind of argument, and I see her kind of slipping into some thinking that won't lead down a good path, I try to protect her as best I can. Right.
That's right.
So those would be the ones I say are universal. It doesn't matter the season. That's my role. Right.
Dude, and I had no idea when I said 3. I had no idea you had that lock cocked ready to go. That was actually, I mean, that's good. I think one other thing that Todd had mentioned last time that I thought about, one thing with protector is, you know, we also, you hit on emotions. We also, it is our responsibility, and this scares the fire out of me, and this really opens you up to your own inner, is you had said that you did it with Miss Nina, and it blew me away 2 days later. You know, I'm slow, but we get there, is you protected her from her insecurities. Bro, my first 5 years, I ran. I was like, look, that's you and Jesus and whatever. I'm here and I'm me. Because that I can't do anything about that. I didn't start it. Yeah. I didn't create it.
But your role as a husband, God will empower you to be able to do what you need to. Not because they're less than. My wife is less than. Anybody, y'all know my wife, strong woman. Mm-hmm. Extremely strong woman. So she'll need me. She wants me. But I am there because there are differences between men and women. And not only that, we're not in a women's podcast, but my wife provides things for me that I can't provide for myself.
Mine sees things sometimes that I'm just like oblivious to. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, so I think, other than that, you know, as far as like in your marriage, I think that's good. Priest, protector, providers, really right along everything that we talked about.
Yep.
All right. And then, so we'll jump ahead. We talked about your role as a father. Now, for y'all don't know, Corey here is expecting. he's a new father.
No. Corey's not.
That's right. I'm sorry.
His wife is
I'm
expecting.
expecting my wife to have a child.
That's right. I'm expecting my wife to give birth. So
he's a newbie.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear some of your thoughts. But first, Todd, I'll go big three there as a new dad or somebody like me where I'm going through a real interesting season where I feel I have no friends or maybe just a couple other friends where us three are just trying to figure out how to breathe.
Yep.
Kids are everywhere. They're challenging boundaries that you're saying, is this really important?
And I'm on the other side of all that.
Where you get to be more of a...
That's why we were saying last week, my role, my position as a father has never changed. I'm always going to be my daughter's father. Mm-hmm. But my role and what I'm doing in their life, completely different now. So I'm there for them. If they need something, they can pick the phone up. Like many times they've called, Daddy, I don't know what to do. And I don't know why, I just do. And you'll learn one day when your kid's going to call you up, hey, Daddy, I don't know what to do here. And you go, well, son, all you need is blah, 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 blah. And you go, where'd that come from? I'm not that smart.
Yeah.
But it came, I think everything goes back to my relationship with God and the relationship that me and their mother have. That means a lot because that's what they say, how they're going to view the world is through your relationship with your spouse, whether you like that or not. So I provide for them in that sense, even now, as I remember my mom and dad, after I'd gotten out of the house, had my own kids, doing good, doing what I was called to do. And my mom get mad at my dad. I'm just going to leave it, Dad. And I'd be like, no, oh my gosh. I'd freak out. No. And
as an adult?
As an adult. And I was like, why would I think that way? Because that was a foundational part of my life.
Yeah.
And that's why so many young people now don't have that foundation. So they go into a marriage, they go into a relationship, and they don't have a frame of reference.
That's right.
At all when it comes to that. So I'm like, oh, so that's why. Oh, okay. Now, did it make it any easier? Because my mom, they never divorced. My mom always that way. She's hot-headed, kind of like one of her sons.
Yep. Don't believe that at all. That's right. That's right.
So, are they three things? Can I boil them all down to three things? No, there's a lot of things. I think one of the things I simply listen on a regular basis. There's not just do that and everything's fixed. That's what we want. As husbands, as men, I want a formula.
Yes.
And if I have this formula and I do these things, I'm going to get this result.
That's right.
And I like that. You know why I like that? Because it's safe. And if it's safe, I don't have to, and I'm supposed to provide safety. I don't have to worry about it. I'm like, okay, they're safe. I've done what I'm supposed to do. Whew, I can breathe. But it goes back to my relationship with God. If I don't have that relationship, I'm always going to be worried. I'm always going to be afraid something's going to happen.
Because you can't, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Listen to, it doesn't matter. You can't be there all the time.
Yep.
And even if you are, you can't be there all the time. You don't know. And I agree. I think it's really hard when I start thinking, okay, what were like some roles, like what were 3 character traits for Dad? And there was 1,000. I would go back to one of the things that you just said, that anytime they call present. Role number 1, present.
Like I told you I think it was last week, the time that my wife told me I was working a lot and I was at the house, and she was basically saying, you're here. And I go, I'm here now. She goes, yeah, you're here now, but your family are getting the leftovers.
Yeah, that would hurt.
Ooh.
That would hurt.
And she didn't mean to hurt. She wasn't saying it to be ugly. She was stating a fact. Buddy, I went outside and I talked to God about it. That hurt because I would never want to give my wife and my children my leftovers. But that's exactly what I was doing. Because I wasn't playing my role properly.
Right.
I was outside my role.
Right. And it's easy to do that.
Yes, it is.
Because you think you put too much emphasis on a provision role, right? Because that's what I'm doing. I am providing. Corey, you're expecting, and I'm curious to say, because I have kids, and I'm not going to lie, in growing up with so many kids, I got to learn early that, mom and dad established some ground rules early, and it made, they wouldn't even discuss stuff with us.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even hear us out. It was just no. There was no decision. There was no discuss.
Why would they listen to you?
Because we're genius. I mean,
Because you were children.
there's logic reasons, right?
They are the adults.
It's a great idea to let us look. Dad did let us ride trees in a hurricane. It's a great experience. But, as somebody who's about to have a child, you and your wife, you think you know what to expect, and you've got a good foundation around you. What's one or two things that you're really looking at in your future role as a father, and how are you going to try to establish it without saying, I'm dominant and this is why?
Ooh, yeah, one thing...
That one's hard. I'm sorry.
It is. It's a big one. You're just not taking it easy.
I know. Well, I mean...
You're not like,
but
what's your son's name?
I have a friend that called me. I had a friend that called me and said, dude, we're trying to do this right. But every time I try to say ABC,
apply the formula. That's what they're trying to do.
No, he said, this is how we're going to, it comes off as egotistical, harsh, callous, masculine, without any type. So how are you looking at...
I would say yes to all that.
Yes, of course.
Because I'm a man.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, A plus B is C. All the time. They have a whole math about it, right? Okay, that's a different conversation. But, what are you looking at as okay, these might be essential things that we need to talk about before?
With my wife? Or
about how you're going to parent.
About being parents.
About what does she expect of you?
Mm-hmm.
I think, one thing that we've discussed, and forgive me, because I feel like everything I'm going to say is going to be so to you guys juvenile, right? Because you guys are the experts.
Bro, stop.
Not experts.
Stop. I can't wait. I really, because I remember, and I was so... Yeah.
No, I think one thing, obviously we've said is hey, we're a united front all the time.
Yes.
If we ever have a disagreement about this thing, we don't show our children that. We have that discussion. If we're going to disagree about something, we're united front in front of them, go behind. There's no pitting us against each other.
That's right.
We want to create an atmosphere where our child cannot do that, right? Because we're together in these things. So that's one thing that we've definitely discussed. I know for me, I just want to be transparent with my children. I want to show them warts and all, right? Not as an excuse for me not to try or be lazy or an excuse for less than excellence. Mm-hmm. But our child should also see that hey, my dad tries. There's not a perfection there.
Dude, yes.
My dad's the effort. And I want my child to be someone who can say, hey, I screwed that up, but I can get back up, right? And I won't lie to you, I've struggled with that my entire life. Is oh crap, I screwed up, and then I would have shame, right?
Yeah.
And that's nothing that I don't think my parents put that on me. That's just something that my response, and I just want to protect my son from that, right?
Right.
Of hey man, there's a screw up, and you need to own up to it. But God's grace is big enough.
Yeah.
To let you keep going. So I think transparency and just allowing my child to see that side of
with
me.
Transparency, you're going to have some wisdom in that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I almost said, I'm going to punch you, Corey, which would not be good.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Well, I think...
The reason I'm saying that is that there's certain things that I'm not transparent when my kids were little. My kids did not know how much the house note was. Yeah. My kids, that's what I'm saying. As far as you're talking about being transparent, my children I've apologized to my children when I was wrong. Yeah. I'm like, I was wrong. Daddy was wrong to react that way. I jumped to conclusions and I was wrong, and I asked for your forgiveness. Yeah. Now, did that give them a sense of power over me? No, they didn't. You know what it gave them? Oh, Daddy's not perfect.
Yeah.
Daddy apologized. So that means I gave them permission to apologize.
That's right.
Through my transparency.
Modeled.
Yeah. So I wasn't doubting the transparency. I'm just saying, what does that transparency mean? Because I have a lot of people go, I said this as a child. I will never tell my children what my mom's telling me. Yeah. My mom would always say, just do it because I said so. And that would anger me because I wanted to know why.
Or was it argumentatively?
No, I wanted to know why. Like, why do I have to do that? And she just do it because I said so. And I swore to myself, I'll never tell my children that. Until one day.
There we go.
I'm like, just do it because I said so. Because I didn't have time to tell them.
That's right.
I didn't have the will to tell them. I'm just tired. I'm trying to raise you. Just do it because I said so, please. So, I never wanted to do that. But I still wound up doing it. And I went back and apologized. But my point being is that there's sometimes you're going to mess up. You're not going to be perfect. You're just not. So that's what I think what you're saying. Being transparent.
Like that. You're almost, and I don't want to say, because I agree with you, not to be lazy, but you're saying, I am going to go ahead and air out and relieve myself subconsciously of trying to be not my dad, or because we do have a lot of people that say, I'll never be him. And the moment, dude, I'm going to go ahead and let you know. Emily will tell you, I'll say something, she'll be like, okay, daddy. And it's just like, and look at me, I am not. She's like, and it's not, she's right. And it's certain things but you're allowing yourself to experience fatherhood without the pressure of, I'm not going to be everything I said I'm not going to be because I'm not going to be it, which is asinine. Yeah. We're adults. Now, I want to ask this because I get asked this a lot, and I have this conversation because I'm not ashamed because I got my tail whipped, and everybody, I'm all for it. Okay, have you had the discussion about how you're going to discipline?
I don't think we have, actually. And I'm too scared to say that we have, and I say the wrong thing. So I'm going to say...
His wife will
watch it. That's right.
If you haven't...
I don't think we have.
And you need to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. This is exactly what I was hoping.
This is why we're doing this.
That's right. Because I feel the only reason I knew to say when Emily was pregnant with Seth, okay, how do you feel about discipline? Is because Dad looked at me and said, if you don't, and you wait until it's time to discipline.
I used that example last week.
It's going to be everything you and her built. She's not going to agree with you because she doesn't understand your heart. And it's not her fault. It's yours because you didn't say this, this, and this. He said, if you plan on having kids, your tail better sit down, and it's going to be uncomfortable.
Yep.
He said, and don't argue. You sit your tail down and you listen. And you try to come and say, boom, this is how we try to structure things. And dude, I'm going to tell you, there has been it really is not, but maybe one or two times where we really kind of rubbed a little bit on discipline where maybe she thinks I should, or I came across harsh or hard. And then there's sometimes I can tell you one time where I just looked at her, I was like, I'm trying to raise men right now, and I need you to get on board if you want them to respect you when they're 16. And I didn't apologize for it. Now, there was 2 or 3 other times where she would, after everything's done, it's the first time I've ever apologized to a 6-year-old. Let me tell you how much fun that was. But after I was done, the emotions were gone, which we talked about. But she said, that was too much. I just feel like that's too much. I know, like, because she knows I hate coming home and having to whip. Like,
yeah,
and we don't whip for everything. There's really just 3 things. It's been a long time since I've whipped Seth, or Adeline. But she knows we decided there's a big 3. My children are going to respect my wife when I'm not at home. How do we make sure that if that's the end result, how do I make sure that happens? One, what you said, I have to respect my wife. You know, I love what you said. We're not going to argue and yell and cuss each other and talk about each other. And if you have, flush it. Let's start over. And it's hard sometimes. Now, where I think it's important, and this is older, obviously, but I think it's important for Seth and Adeline and the older, for them to hear that mommy and daddy can disagree.
Yep.
But we love each other and we don't dog cuss each other. And I'm not saying divorce.
Ever.
I'm not leaving. I'm not kicking you out. You're not kicking me ever. Like what you said, my whole life, I don't think I've ever heard mom or dad, Alan or Amy say divorce ever.
Because it was not on the table.
That's right.
It's not a thought in their mind. That was set early on when they said, I do. Done. I do, it's done.
And I think it was like, for me, it's non-negotiable. It really has to be, no matter the argument. I love what you said, because I think that's paramount. Because one thing that I think, and we'll end it with this, I really think for a father, you set the standard for what world your children live in. Yeah. I love what you said about transparency. I would almost put it as foundational confidence. Mm-hmm. Go for it. Go.
You're giving them permission.
That's right.
To make a mistake.
God, that's so important, dude.
I mean, how many times have you made a mistake and learned from it?
3 or 4.
Yeah. I was hoping he'd made more mistakes, right. But he's only learned 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, for sure.
And
how many mistakes have we made and we learned from it? Mm-hmm. Sometimes this is what God told me years ago. No offense to a youth pastor. I was a youth pastor. It was about a youth pastor we had. I was always keeping him up. If he was going to fail, I'd be there, not let him fail. Till one day, God spoke to me. He says, "You need to let him fail. That's how he's going to learn. Just like you learned how to walk because you got tired of falling down."
See, that's
sometimes you have to let people fail for them to learn. And I don't like that,
dude. Yes.
I don't want them to fail.
I don't want people to fail. but I'll tell you, what Dad used to tell. No matter if you touch another football, I was 15, 16, 17, 18, 12, 11, 10, 9, no matter if you touch another football, if you ever hit another baseball, I love you because you're my son, and I will be in your corner for the rest of your life.
Yep.
And we're Hickmans, and we go for it. And if it doesn't work out,
it's not because I didn't try.
That's right. Yeah. But we are going, because it went back to the basis of what his relationship with the Lord, and he knows he will be judged on raise a son in the ways he should go. And I think discipline is big. Ooh. I think discipline is big, and we don't have time to talk, but you are the disciplinarian.
That's a role.
You are. Daddy voice. Look, when Dad would come home and he would use it ain't preacher voice. It's Big Al voice. There is a commanded audience.
Difference. Yep.
Okay. And look, we didn't disrespect Mom. You want to know why? We knew who was behind her. And if you did, he wasn't asking you, what is your truth? He didn't care. It didn't
I'm about to give you some truth.
It didn't matter. Tell me what your feelings are. I'm going to give you your feelings here in a second. Okay? I think discipline, it's not talked about, almost shunned a little bit. You have to set boundaries of what you're going to expect your children. And then, man, I love what you definitely are the foundation. God, you're the foundation. Give them permission to go for it. What happens if I don't? Okay. Fall forward.
You are their safety net.
God, yes. So, but, those 3, love them. We named about 25. But, let's go on. This is a big one because I think this is a problem. I know as somebody in management, you also are in a position of leadership.
So we're getting off a family.
Okay. The last one, the big one, your role as an employee/employer. I would like to start with employee. All right, your role as a man, we've already established you are a provider. So obviously you go to work. You know, in Timothy it says, a man who doesn't provide for his household, you're worse than, you're pretty bad.
Infidel.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty bad. Go to work. All right, that's free. Anyways.
I'm very strong about that.
I know. I mean, I am too. So what is your role? Now, you've been in leadership, senior leadership for a while here and very trusted, but I'm curious as your role as an employee. Mm-hmm. What do you feel that is?
Well, first of all, years ago, I had asked the Lord about this because as a little bit type A.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Just be honest with you. I don't like being told what to do. I already have my ideas. I know, I don't need your ideas. I know where we're headed, blah, blah, blah. You know, I was 6 years old when I did that on the playground. All right, guys, this is what we're going to do. And then they all jumped on me and piled on top of me. Then I realized, okay, I need to back up and get a better plan.
That's right.
But here's the thing I learned years ago is that God's not going to hold me accountable for how other people lead, but he will hold me accountable for how I follow. So I'm like, all right, so don't worry about whether that leader that's over me, my employer, is doing right or wrong. Well, he does this and he does that. God's not going to hold me accountable for him. He's going to hold me accountable for how I follow. And I was like, okay. Immediately, the pressure of being good enough, or I'm not going to do it because he's this way and he's that way, or she's this way and she's that way. Okay, because I'm doing it as unto the Lord.
Okay, so you said something there, the pressure being good enough. Let's go to buzzword. Corey, you'll definitely know what this one is because I want to come back to that, but I don't want to pass by this one. I would say fear of failure.
As an employee.
Correct. Well, I mean, because that's everything. Again, it goes back to kind of the foundational thing of I'm not going to put myself out there because what if I fail?
And what am I going to do? But it goes back to fathers. Most of them are afraid to go for it because they were never given the freedom to be able to do that. I mean,
So you're saying how you were going to be, let's just say, quote unquote, judged, measured, weighed, whatever you want to use, gave you freedom, relief?
Yeah. I jumped off the house twice thinking I could fly because my daddy said I could, and I believed him.
That's right.
But they were twice in a row.
With a trash bag, right?
Yeah, no, I had a towel. Towels were, they were more magical.
We at least had trash bags.
Because my father said I could. He gave me that freedom. And then once I hit the ground the second time, I realized, well, maybe he's not right because I couldn't breathe. But my point being is I've always went for it. Why? Because he gave me that confidence to be able to do that. So as an employee, you know, I'm going, I want to have that ability to go for it, but also I'm under authority.
Well, and so that goes, does our role at work, is it dictated by our job description?
Yes and no.
Okay, yeah. I would agree. That I didn't ask that very well. How do I want to say it? How we handle ourselves at our job, the quality of work we put out and or product, is that determined by our status and or job description that we were hired for?
No.
100% agree.
It has everything to do with who you are as a person. Whether I'm digging ditches or whether I'm painting a Mona Lisa or whether I'm standing in front of thousands of people talking, my dad said, I don't care what you do. And he told me this. He goes, if you dig ditches or if you're in front of thousands of people, you dig the best ditch that the world has ever known. Okay. You know, have I dug ditches before? No. But if I do, I'm going to do a good job at it. He's saying, and I got that from going back to what we were talking about earlier about fatherhood. I got that from my father. You know, and the thing is, at first, being a father, I thought that was going to be a lot of weight on my shoulders. I can't do all this. I'm not strong enough. That's why I depend on God. So I'll run to him because he's the authority in my life. But going back to the employee side of it, I'm looking, going, I am under authority.
But you have a lot of knowledge, though, and you're really good at what you do, and you have a lot of authority here.
But what I'm saying is that even in the secular world, whether church or whatever, a lot of times people go, Corey, they used to tell me, oh, you're a youth pastor. Man, you get to go have fun all the time, and you don't even work a half a day a week.
I get asked what my real job is all the time.
All the time.
They don't fathom this is what I do. Right?
I mean, you mean ice skating and, bungee rope courses?
See, if you understand authority. The thing is that authority doesn't mean that somebody's over you, doesn't mean they're perfect, doesn't mean they have it all together. It's just they have that position. But you have to honor that. For instance, if Bill Clinton walked in the room right now, our ex-president, I would stand up, yes, sir, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Nice to meet you.
Absolutely.
But if we would have sat down and he was to look at me and go, Todd, let me give you a little advice about marriage.
Yeah.
He has no authority to be able to speak in that sense. So I'll be like, well, Mr. President, with all humility, I don't really want to listen to you when it comes to marriage because of what he's done. And we could talk a whole bunch about authority, but later. But here's the thing is, as an employee, I'm honoring the people before me, whether they're worthy of it or not. That's not a point.
Why?
Because God said them. I didn't do that. Go to Romans. Last chapter of Romans talks about that. So I'm like, God put them there, and he put me here. And there's been many times I thought I could do a better job. And God's like, well, okay, but I didn't put you there. So do the best job that you can do where you're at. And you honor me and honor that person by obeying. Whether you like it now, if it's sin and stuff like that, that's a given.
Yes, yeah. We could set that standard. Like, well, I'm not saying do anything.
Even if you can do a better job than they can. That's not the point. It's not about doing a better job. It's about I'm honoring their position and the position that I'm in. One of the reasons why I've never pastored like a church, senior pastor, because God told me not to. Because I don't want you to do that. All right, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being under submission, especially when I know God's called me to do that. You'll never be over until you learn how to be under. I learned it a long time ago. So I don't have a problem with it.
Pretty good role, too, there. Just saying.
It's not easy, but it's not easy, especially when you're a strong-willed person. Me and Dad, we've done that over the years. But one of the things that we said, our relationship is not on the table.
Okay, because that I put in my notes because we want to talk about, obviously, because that's a very interesting dynamic that I feel with like a lot of people like our age that didn't have the foundation struggle with that. But I did want to ask you, as somebody who is maybe not as used to being understanding that the Lord's called me to, part of my role at work is submit to authority.
Yeah.
And I'm mildly type A myself, and so, that's kind of hard. I have my own ideas. Does your role as an employee, because we'll get to the leadership part in a second, but the employee, does your role matter to you? Like, okay, let me stop there. Hang on. So what I say?
Does.
No, yeah. Does it? So, as an employee, how would you identify your role outside of the job description and what you're supposed to do?
It just in general, or my specific position?
In general.
In general. Whatever task it is, right? So I waited tables for 5 years. I will never go back to waiting tables. It is terrible. It is awful. I hate the tipping system in general because, it's ridiculous that people eating their meal are expected to pay my salary. But also, if you don't tip me, I can't provide for me and my family, right? So I hate that system. But I was there, and man, for me, I did kind of what Todd was saying. You do everything with excellence, right? Because for me, in that atmosphere, most of my friends, they were non-believers, right? So if I was one of the only believers they knew, I wanted them to see that I did everything I could to point them towards Jesus.
Wow.
Because, that's our whole life's goal, right? Is to lift high Him, to point others towards Him, to preach the gospel 24/7, use words when necessary. That quote, right?
So, all right. So but that's in life and in marriage, and one may even say over your household, and definitely at whatever church or you do.
Yeah.
But business is business.
Well,
That's what, especially in the restaurant.
the reason I'm
business.
saying that is because people use that as an excuse to do horrible, bad
Dang
things
right.
to people.
You dang right.
Business is business.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
I'm like, my relationship with Jesus goes in every area of my life,
Yeah.
every facet of my life. So whether I've had people go, well, business is business. Oh, so you're telling me that because you're about to rip me off.
Yep.
Yes.
That's what you're telling me.
No one has ever said that and then cut you a deal, right? No one has ever said
That's
that and been like,
true.
hey, here's
business
this
is
materials for
business.
cost.
You know,
right?
I'm going
But-
to save you $10,000.
But like, who's and that's what I'm trying to kind of weave, because 100% had that said to me, multiple times. But how or why, like in your business aspect, that wasn't on the job description. That wasn't on your hiring. That wasn't on your hiring sheet. We expect you to set the example of this is how Christians work in the work
It
environment.
goes back to what he said just a few minutes ago about lifting Jesus. I'm like, okay, I'm a follower of Jesus, whether I am at my job or whether I'm riding down the road or whether I'm on the other side of the table and somebody's waiting on me. I'm going to treat them with honor and respect because that's what, not just because that's what God expects of me, but that's what God put inside of me.
To the least of you.
I had a sermon one time and I called it "Not an Adjective." And you're not a Christian business owner or a Christian plumber or a Christian whatever.
Okay, cool. Okay,
Christian
okay.
is
All right, I'm
is
with
your
you.
identity, right? So therefore, whatever role comes from that is an overflow of that.
Yep.
So there is no such thing as business as a Christian, right? As a Jesus follower, you following Jesus has to. The first illustration I ever wrote, I was like 16 years old, just freshly called to ministry. I was like, I got to come up with something that they'll remember at FCA, all right? So I did the one, I've actually used it here a few years ago, where I poured chocolate syrup on ice cream. And then it was so nasty too. I reached in there and said, hey, I just doused this ice cream with chocolate syrup, but I can still find pieces that are vanilla.
Yes.
Right. And then I compared that to milk, pouring the chocolate milk in there and stirring. There's no piece of that milk that is not
That's just white.
affected
That's right.
by that. And that's the same thing for whatever role overflows from us. If you're a Jesus follower, that affects everything you do.
Absolutely.
So there is no compartmentalization there.
That is, couldn't agree more.
But you know
'Cause
why we like to compartmentalize?
Because we're men, we have
it's-
boxes
'cause
and
it's
boxes.
safe.
Yeah, boxes don't touch.
Yeah, boxes. This is my home box.
That's right.
This is my work box. This
is my wife
my
box.
gaming box.
Yes,
This
yes.
is my music box.
And when you make me take out two different boxes at the same time, mass chaos. Like I can't compute. They don't go across. They
However,
just-
women completely different, which is another time,
That's right.
another show.
well, so I want to, if you said your role at work, give me 3 character traits that wouldn't be on your job description as an employee.
As an employee, I'm trying to think as restaurant Corey right now, because I feel like to do youth pastor Corey is not really fair, right? Because it's like is this own little thing, right?
It is.
I'm a
half a day a
professional
week.
Christian,
Half a day a week.
I would vastly disagree.
Okay.
Just because I want to, one, I feel like it's people that crap on women that stay home and raise kids. Like you are literally raising my heritage, our existence. You are literally raising the younger heritage and
generation.
that's right, of believers. What are they doing? So I would but there's got to be some type of like, as an employee, how am I graded? I love a bar, a standard. If Todd's youth group was average 250 and he had these awesome group of 150 core, how do I get 175 core? and 275. It's one, it's competitive, but two, it's also, okay, how am I going to be graded? Who measures me? Okay.
Yeah.
How are the job description of measurement? Because, right, men like to be measured. We like to compete, and I don't think you should shy away from it. But does that measurement affect you in your 3 core values? But you can go back to a restaurant owner or a runner if you want.
Okay. Sorry, I think I'm more clearly seeing what you're asking.
Yeah.
For character trait of like, for me, dependable has to be one of the dependability has to be one of the core traits that I am in, no matter what job I'm, right? If my boss asks me to do something, I need to show up and do it well, as we've been saying. Right?
Very good.
Also, I mean, I've been in this situation before of, my boss, like we said earlier, does something. I don't agree with anything he does, right? But I honor him.
Yes.
But I've been in situations where like, I don't know if that's the best course of action, but as long as it's not counter to the gospel, counter to scripture, right? Like, I'm going to honor him. I may have, Alan, I will go have a conversation with him if I disagree with something he said from the pulpit or something like that. But as long as it's not conflicting with scripture, right? As long as it's not conflicting with God, that's my leader. And you best not say anything about my leader, right?
Yeah.
There's that loyalty there. So loyalty, dependability, and I don't really have a third one for you.
No, that's good though.
those are the
Dependability,
ones.
I think, and I probably should have described it a little less covertly, but I was trying to get there. I love dependable, man. Men in the workplace, like my father-in-law, they literally were like, we're going to fire you if you don't take your vacation days.
Yeah.
If there was something to be, his tail
He
was...
enjoyed it, but he enjoyed what he did.
That's true.
So taking a vacation is good. I can take a vacation, but I'm like, I enjoy what I do. I like getting up in the morning. I get excited about going to work because I like what I do. I like to be able to do these things. So, I think some of the traits that we're asking for are given as a follower of Jesus. As a follower of Jesus, I'm going to be dependable. How can I not be dependable? Yeah. As a follower of Jesus, I'm going to work hard. How can I not work hard? As a follower of Jesus, I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. How can I not do that as a follower of Jesus? For me, when people go, are you dependable? Are you honest? I'm like, who are you talking to?
Yeah.
But however, I know in the secular workplace, and unfortunately it's getting that way in the church as well, in the secular workplace, you having to ask those questions. You go, are they dependent? Are they going to show up on time? Are they going to actually come drunk or high? Or all that kind of stuff. Because you've got men who aren't playing their roles as they should. Because other people aren't playing the roles that they should. Yeah. I can tell you right now, I know tons of men who are married with children. Their mama is still mothering them. Cut.
Yeah.
Cut that umbilical cord. That's what God called us to do. And then the thing is that you wind up dealing with it more than we do because it's kind of hard to find good, honest, dependable, hardworking people, men. Here's something that I was teaching the other day in counseling. I said this out loud. I went, that's good. I need to write that down.
That's right. That's right.
I was talking to this couple. I said, what you're doing as a couple and all the things that you're saying is normal. It's normal. Everything is normal. But it's not healthy. Yeah. You're normal compared to the rest of the world, but it's not healthy. And the thing is that most people will aspire to normal, not healthy. Because they're looking at the world around them and going, I'm just like him, I'm just like them, I'm just like them. So I'm going to be like them. I'm like this. Okay, Jesus said, so if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it with all my heart. So I'm going to show up early and I'm going to stay late. Why? And then the thing is, why I ain't doing it? Because that guy don't deserve this from me. Well, first of all, I appreciate my boss, but I'm not working for him. At the end of the day, I want to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant.
Bingo.
Just like the funeral I was at Friday. That's what that woman that passed away, she always told her children and people around her, I want to hear God say, well done, my good and faithful servant. That funeral was an amazing celebration of a woman that went after God.
No regrets.
And no regrets. Yeah, no regrets. And she made a difference on her family and the people around her.
See that. So I would define as an employee, man, I don't have to agree. You know, one of the things it doesn't matter the person. You will always respect the position.
Yep.
You say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, whether you think they deserve it or not.
Yep. And
And it translates to when we work, he would make us get jobs and not get paid. It was terrible. It was terrible.
because that is not normal.
And we would, and so naturally, when you're sweating and it's grassy and it's terrible, I'm not trying to finish with the best of my effort. You know what he would do? Take your tail back there. I mean, we got whipped for not cleaning the sink all the way. Yes, we cleaned it. Did you clean it? Because if I go check it and it has toothpaste on the mirror, because the younger boys go and spread it up, you're getting a whipping. Like, we cleaned it.
That is not masculine toxicity.
No.
That's not trying to be a hard person.
No.
That's teaching your children because you didn't understand it then. You didn't have the mental capability
He
to.
had a standard that I now suffer from, respect for authority, the longing to work hard, the desire to show my children it's okay to work hard. And also the ability to give my best effort and not expect anything in return.
See, that goes against the American mentality.
I just stepped on. So get what you worth, pay what you worth, self-help. Yes to all that. Yeah. Yes to all that. Agreed. But I'm telling you, I am being judged. God gave me gifts. He gave you gifts that I don't have.
Yep.
Okay. And I think right along with what y'all said, character. Are you going to be where you said you were going to be? Are you going to do? Can my boss leave the country for a month and give me a set of tasks and ensure that they're going to be done to his standard or better?
And you don't have to think twice about it while he's gone.
If I can tell myself and say, yeah, absolutely. And then okay, but if there's some type of uncomfortability, then maybe we need to check ourselves. Like, are you that guy that's willing without a handout? Yeah, I'll do that. What you going to pay me? Maybe that's not in my job description. Am I dependable? You know, and that's one thing that I think, and as an employer, man, your role is vastly harder because it's split duality, right? You are employee, right? But as employer, though, Corey, what is my role as an employer? Like, you have people under you now. What is your role as an employer to where it won't conflict with your core values and the role as employee?
I mean, specifically for me in my context is to see to my people's success, right? And that's something that your dad has said so
Very
much
good.
and has really changed my perspective on a lot of things. Is like, bro, I only have one paid person under me, right? And if she's doing well, that means the youth group is doing well.
Bingo, baby.
And then I have a lot of unpaid volunteers under me too. And man, like, if the only way I'd get mad if they're doing well is if I'm jealous, and that's a heart condition, right?
Oh, I was about to ask it. Okay,
So
yep.
The only way that I would be upset is if there's some kind of heart condition in me, man. Because for me, if April and Lydia and Luke and Jarrell and Emily and Kenneth and all my other leaders are doing well, that means that these students are getting loved on. They're getting someone that is investing in their lives. That means someone is showing them Jesus on a regular basis, and that is just good for the kingdom.
Yep.
So it's to see, but also, let's say someone starts stepping out of line, right? There does come that is also seeing to their success by telling them to get back within the lines, the parameters of what the job description is, right?
So you're saying success is predicated on a little bit of discipline?
Yes, for sure.
A lot of discipline.
I don't think it exists without it, right?
I mean, some might argue. I mean, some would argue that, look, babe, hey, if you're going to put constraints on me, then why don't you just do it instead of micromanaging?
Well, there's a difference between micromanaging. That gets into a whole nother world. Whole nother world.
Maybe.
But what he's saying is just what I'm saying. Me and Alan had this conversation years ago. I said, Alan, if we, me and him and the elders, if we're not healthy, our staff can't be healthy. If our staff's not healthy, our church is not healthy. If our church is not healthy, our families aren't healthy. If our families aren't healthy, our communities aren't healthy, so forth and so on. So it goes back to, if I've got to be healthy, you've got to be healthy as an employer in order to take and give that health away. Hurting people hurt people, but healed people heal people. You know, now, one of the things I've learned over the years is that as somebody that's in a position of leadership, that my way isn't always the best way. And it may not always be the right way. It's okay. It's okay not to have it your way as the boss. I'm going to say that again. It's okay to not have it your way as the boss.
Okay, so how do you establish that without, because as the boss, I'm a manager, right? As the boss, we're managers and we have senior owners. How do I establish it's okay not to be my way, but still have authority?
Because you build something into the relationship that you have. Whether you like it or not, you have a relationship with every employee that you oversee. You do. And that person's uniquely different, so you're able to talk to them according to their personality. How I speak with Corey is going to be completely different than how I speak with, say, Justin or somebody like that, because they're two different people. I learned that with my own children. My children are two separate types of people. You know, there's principles that are principles no matter what.
That's right.
What I'm talking about in communicating with them, I communicate differently. I'm not being fake or anything like that. I'm just simply going, this is his personality, and I've figured out how he thinks, so I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to talk to him that way. So my point being here is that I've got to be able to be okay with not getting it my way all the time, because my way isn't always the right way. What I want is what's best for the company, what's best for the people, what's best. And me and your dad's had this conversation many times.
Because you two are, and look, I've already said, I mean, probably best dad you could ever ask for. He's a big teddy bear, love, never question it. But you two are vastly
different.
I mean,
two ends of the spectrum.
I don't know if the English words.
Two ends of the spectrum.
Yes, total opposites. How are y'all even, and yet y'all have one of the tightest bonds, and I don't care whether secular, Christian, that kind of differences, the way he sees things and where, just get it, and the way you see things and them getting done is, it's the stuff that Trojan horses and the wars are made of.
Yep, you're right.
How do you,
I'm just going to sound really super spiritual, but we both have to talk to God on a regular basis. Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. I learned a long time ago that I absolutely need Alan Hickman in my life, and Alan Hickman needs me in his life. Why? Because there's things that I don't do well that Alan does great at. There's things that he doesn't do well that I do great at. And we actually wind up complimenting one another.
Yeah.
And once we see that, and as somebody he's my boss, I'm going to listen to what he has to say. And there's times that I'm like, okay, I know one thing about Alan. He'll tell me one time, okay, he's thinking about it. He'll suggest it twice. If he's suggesting it 3 times, Alan's saying, I want it done. I'm just being nice about it.
But he didn't tell you, though.
But how did you learn that? That's part of having a relationship with people and being able to understand and know that. That means you have to be intentional on how you communicate with people and how you talk to people, how you treat people. You know, I've had my ups and downs. So anyway,
I know, and I think the biggest thing with being a manager, especially as a man, especially as somebody, like, I encourage people, be type A. I agree with you. I was trying to be without discipline. What did we say last week or a couple, whatever? There's chaos.
Yep.
There's
absolutely
chaos, right? That's why my shop was chaos. You want to know why? I failed. I apologize to the guys today. I failed, not in my work. I never missed a day. I was there before. I was there late. We were there at 2 or 3 in the morning. You want to know where I failed? I did not establish the parameters, the guidelines of what we see as successful, and then small things throughout the week that make them successful that we need to ensure that we're doing.
Yeah.
Would you say that you were not playing your role well?
I was not.
Okay.
And
Now, that's
so
the thing about
without-
role play we've been talking about. You got to understand what that role is, but you also got to understand what's encompassed in that role.
And see, without the roles, that's why we see, like, we have friends that are struggling in marriage or gone. And so the importance of this, like, we got a lot of things that I would love to get you back, and hear your opinion on some stuff that we want to build on. But like what you and I talked about, guys, if we don't understand the 3 core roles that we're supposed to play, nothing else really matters.
Yeah.
It's just, fishing with a different hook every day, hoping for the same fish. It's terrible. So, Corey, thank you for being on.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Love to have you back, and we'll go at guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It's really important. If you don't know your role, first, pray.
Yep.
Get alone and
Yes.
be real. Talk to God and say, God, don't know how to pray. I don't know my role as a man in this situation. 2, find somebody that you think is good and just ask a weird question. Be open to your idea of your role not being the way God wants it. I know it wasn't necessarily for me, but
Let me throw this in here.
better though.
Let me throw this in real quick. As you're calling on these guys what to do, I would call out to some of you older gentlemen like myself. Sometimes you think, I ain't got nothing to give. You got a lot to give. So make yourself available, okay? I've mentored people over the years. A lot of times I did it and they didn't even know it. I just started talking to them, just started hanging out. And then years later, I knew I'd mentored them when they would introduce me. Hey, this is my mentor, Todd. And I'm like, oh, really?
Cool beans.
I would say, don't blame me for that.
That's right.
But
That's right.
But my point being, make it intentional. You've got something to give. Thank God I had people in my life that were able to pour into me. I wouldn't be the man that I am today without them.
And see, I want to commend you, Corey, for actually being honest. Like, no, we hadn't really talked about it like that. Yeah. No, but for real, because I know when I was there, I probably would, I've been typical guy.
The temptation was real at that moment to be like, but got it squared away.
For real though, that's what we're taught. That's what this is all about.
Yeah,
like it's okay not to know. It's okay. I had a great example, and I still don't know and get a lot of it wrong. So, man, make sure you hit the like button, comment, send us emails, tell somebody about it, share it. Let us know what you want to hear us talk about, if this even provides any information. But our goal is always to say, what are men struggling? And let's go little itty bitty applicable bite sizes for people like me. So appreciate you guys. Love y'all. Hope to see y'all soon again in the next episode.